Welcome back. Immigration crisis aside, I had to get Senator Cornyn's take on a courthouse development which stunned many. All right, Senator, amid a growing drumbeat for impeachment proceedings in the House, there was news of the controversial Hunter Biden plea deal falling apart. Now, you're a former judge and Texas Attorney General, so I welcome your take on this.
But this initial deal was a sweetheart deal. It, again, confirms people's belief that there's a double standard of justice.
Okay, guys, looking for a quick reaction to the Biden plea breakdown. Stephen.
I think we still have to wait and see all the details. The senator is right in what he's saying, and this is just the beginning, so we're going to have to wait and see more information.
How about it, Rudy?
You know, here in Austin, we had a double reaction. Crickets from the left and on the right. For them, I heard a lot of people saying it's confirmation of the double standard, the hypocrisy, the corruption up in Washington, D.C. It's also interesting, as all this was going down, Trump was calling Senator Cornyn Mitt Romney 2.0, right?
He was. Back to the border, Stephen, there were hopes Senator Cornyn could be a peacemaker, but given what we just heard, that possibility seems remote, and that's putting it lightly. Agree?
Agree. And I mentioned priorities because the senator is bringing to light an issue that actually, you know, impacts people who are in the country right now. Now, granted, there is a concern on the border that will continue to be there, but some of this is political theater. What the senator is talking about is something that's tangible. If you can't locate where these children are, if you don't know if they're in schools or any information as to track where they are, that's a big deal because they're already here. Now, there's an issue that we have to deal with on the border, but there's a bigger issue if they're already here.
Yeah, that's right, Rudy. We had Democrats in Houston labeling the river barriers death traps. Given that the buoys currently stretch less than a quarter mile, do you view this protest as legit or a red herring to whip up the base?
Yeah, you know, Greg, here in Austin, it's kind of been viewed as a red herring. You know, that argument really hasn't gained any traction here in the Austin area. And the main reason is because of what the senator pointed out. It's not that long, and it's doing what it's designed to do, and that is to push the migrants who are in the water, push them downstream, down to a point where they can be apprehended or pushed back to the Mexican side.
Stephen, the revelation of more than 85,000 unaccompanied children gone missing came from reporters at the notably un-Republican New York Times. Is this the kind of issue that can damage Biden in 2024?
Look, the border is going to damage Biden regardless of what the headline is at that time when people get ready to go to the polls. It's a matter of, will enough voters who care about other things more than the border? You have to keep in mind, Texas, we're a border state. There are people in other states who, yeah, they hear about the border, but it's not a priority for them. So it really boils down to what percentage of voters go to the polls who care about the border as the #1 priority.
Rudy, same question. That's a lot of missing kids. Can this hurt Biden in 2024?
You know, it's frightening and it's disappointing, and it's a problem that's really hiding in plain sight. But I fear that until we start seeing kids being rescued en masse, until we're starting to see kids that are murder victims, it's like what Stephen pointed out, like with the border. If you're away from this area, if you're not close to this situation, it must not be happening, and it's a disconnect, and that's why my word was disconnect.
All right, with the Biden Justice Department filing suit against Texas, Governor Greg Abbott, to no one's surprise, doubled down. What do you make of that reaction, Stephen?
I talked to a constitutional lawyer this week. He said right now the win goes to Governor Abbott because regardless if a judge in Texas says remove it, it's going to go to the Fifth Circuit. The Fifth Circuit is not a friend of President Biden. They'll likely side with the governor. So for a while, Governor Abbott's going to be able to keep what he wants. But that constitutional lawyer I talked to, he said ultimately he thinks if it goes to the Supreme Court, they may say immigration belongs to the feds.
Quickly, Rudy, polling shows that Texans are backing both the border barriers and the razor wire. Are you surprised?
No, people are frustrated. They want to see something being done, and they feel like nothing's being done. I just question, are we focusing too much on illegal immigration and not trying to find a solution? Maybe the solution is with reforming legal immigration.
All right, that's all the time we have. To see this interview or others, go to our station YouTube channels.
And keep the conversation going on our social media sites.
And there's always a lot of hot topics when it comes to politics in Texas. So join us next Sunday for another edition of Texas The Issue Is. And remember to let us know what you think the issue is.